Spinnaker?
Well, firstly, fantastic job by the crew, and especially by Terry in the afterguard. We saw there was the 20-second gap at the bottom gate there, and very nice job to close it back up and put themselves back into this race. As we spoke about, the boat upwind obviously gets the wind first, gets to make the decision on when to tack, when to use it, and really try and give some dirty air back to the boat behind. But on the downwind leg, it's the opposite. The boat behind receives the wind first, and they try and really cover the boat ahead to try and feed them the dirty air and take an advantage. So real interesting now to see if we see Team New Zealand go for the early jibe or if they're going to hold in there on the port tack.
Boy, they're getting into the 20s here in the tacks. There's been a huge amount of work for the grinders on both teams. They'll know they've been in a boat race.
Yeah, you just look at the size of the guys now that are on board these boats. Very physical, just like, you know, your sort of back rowers in rugby. Very, very physical, strength, power, and great sailors as well.
All right, so 60 metres, Alinghi in front, but they certainly have not got this race matched up yet as they both go through the jibe.
Both boats jibing here. Team New Zealand looking at this opportunity, what we spoke about, trying to blanket the wind of Alinghi. And we'll see how this settles up to see if they can actually do that. Very, very close at the moment.
So if Team New Zealand can just get a little further advanced, then they start shadowing Alinghi and disrupting the airflow. The key thing is now to look at the shoulders of the Jenniker or Spinnaker out to the right.
Very close here. Looks like Alinghi are just forward of that dirty air line we can see now on the virtual eye.
So that's the key point. And Team New Zealand, if they can tend to just slow down, get a little bit closer, easier said than done, but that's what they'll be trying to do.
That's what they're trying to do, and I'm actually a little surprised. I thought that Team New Zealand may have gone to jibe earlier, try and benefit from that gain they took on the upwind leg on the left-hand side. But I mean, the other thing that's very difficult to see is that with all the spectator boats up at the top mark, you actually need to sail for a little while to get clear air. It's almost like a bit of a brick wall that's set up at the top by all these spectator boats. It's really, I mean, there must be 1,000 boats out here at least.
So they're creating wash plus.
Wash plus, just with all these big masts and big, you know, 3-level super yachts, it's also slowing the wind down and doing what we talked about on the downwind leg. So, you know, that's probably one of the reasons why the Kiwis held on a little bit longer. But, you know, just looking at it now, Alinghi just starting to stretch out a little. They've got the air clear, and I think soon we'll start to see Team New Zealand try to attack and throw a few jibes into this.
Well, really, Team New Zealand's got to start making things happen, haven't they, really? They cannot be passive.
Got to try something from here on. It's did a good job on the beat, got the race close. You can see Alinghi have gained a little bit again here, maybe another 20-30 metres, but it's not over. And I think you can see Terry now just starting to talk to the guys about a jibe here.
There's Don Cowie, former Olympic medalist for New Zealand, long-time participant in the America's Cup. He's the main sheet trimmer, an outstanding contributor to Team New Zealand's success so far. He'll be concentrating hard, but the man who's really concentrating hard is James Dagg, the trimmer downwind. The trimmers downwind here really, they've got a major commitment now in harnessing the airflow into those Jennikers.
Yeah, the helmsman, trimmers, really working hard the whole race, trying to make the boat go as fast as possible. See Brad there, letting a smile go. Obviously pretty happy right now. He's stretched out another 20 metres or so. 100 metres it's down to now. So Alinghi certainly seem like they've got some legs downwind.
Well, this is an interesting point because we've heard the drum beats round the waterfront on how fast Team New Zealand is. And certainly in one race against Desafio Espanol in the semi-final and one against you, James, in the final on Luna Rossa, they were really quite quick in 11, 10, 9, 8 knots downhill. They were really quick. But we've also heard other stories about how quick Alinghi is. And I told the story of a fellow who was out on the water, and he reckoned that one day, in one leg, 100 took a minute, out of 91 downhill, but the people out of Perth listening to that just dismissed it and laughed into their sleeves, saying that was just Walter Mitty telling a story. But maybe he was right, because what we know is that Team New Zealand is quick downhill, and yet Alinghi is matching it.
Certainly no slower, that's for sure. It's, I mean, a lot of times we'll see that the boat ahead downwind will actually gain on this race course here in Valencia, and even puts even more importance on the upwind leg and the starts.
Almost halfway down the final leg, the run to home in race 1 of the America's Cup, and Emirates Team New Zealand looking at the transom of Alinghi. Alinghi still hold the advantage. They've stretched it out well over 100 metres now. And there we see where they are on the course. Around that last mark, it was only 14 seconds, so New Zealand had closed up when they were on the left-hand side, got a little bit of pressure there, were able to close up to just 14 seconds. But now 180 metres the margin downwind. And the body language on Alinghi suggests that they feel quite comfortable in this situation, of course, with this lead, but also in this situation downwind and these conditions, which Cameron have got, what, up to 15 knots at stages?
Yeah, the wind's been ranging probably on their masthead somewhere between 12 and 15 knots. And I think, for me, certainly, it's a little bit of a surprise to see how quick Alinghi have been downwind. I know the talk around had been that Team New Zealand thought that they might have a bit of an edge downwind. It's one area where they thought they could attack Alinghi. And both legs so far, we've seen Alinghi stretch away a little bit. And certainly on this leg, they've really stretched out they've basically almost doubled their lead down here. And, you know, it might not necessarily be a exact boat speed thing. They might have got a little bit better pressure. There's been some small splits. Alinghi gained quite a lot on the little split at the bottom mark on leg 2. But there's a lot of technique involved today with these waves around.
We can see again as we show the leg summaries. This is leg 3, the second upwind leg. Very little in average speed. Average speed difference 9.4 to 9.5. And 70 metres further travel by Emirates Team New Zealand for a round-the-mark difference of 14 seconds. Once again, it just emphasises, if people are getting a bit despondent about the look of this race, it just emphasises there's very little between these two, in these conditions today at least.
Oh, yeah. You're only talking about a tiny, tiny little gains that you're trying to find. And when you go out in these campaigns and you do years and years of testing and you line up your two boats and you're trying to find gains in the, you know, we're talking about 2 or 3 meters per minute in a test. You know, it's something you could never see with your eye. And if you could be guaranteed to gain 2 meters a minute on something new for the boat, you'll take it in a heartbeat. And, you know, it's very, very small. And I think these two boats so far from what we've seen are pretty evenly matched. I know it seems like on that first upwind, Alinghi just gained by being in the left. They got the advantage of that left shift and got that early advantage. And as we've seen in all the semi-finals and the finals of the Louis Vuitton Cup, you had that small advantage at the first meeting, which was, you know, happened in this race halfway up the beat. You know, it's very difficult to come back. So I think, you know, okay, it looks like Alinghi are going to take this race, but Team New Zealand certainly won't be too discouraged. You know, they know they could have done a slightly better job, but boat speed-wise, I think they'll be like, well, okay, we've got the boat to win races here, and it's only one race. Let's move on to tomorrow.
Yep, there's been no need for buckets. There's been no masts breaking. There's been none of those horrors. This is a good boat with a good crew up against another good boat with another good crew. So an even contest. Well, that may be the situation. We'll find out in a few days' time, of course, but certainly on day one, Alinghi have the advantage, and they're going to take first blood in this best of 9 series. I think afterwards the comments from both crews won't be anything of confidence or overconfidence. This is just one out of the road for both of them.
Yeah, and I know people back home will be wondering a little bit about this race course today, where a lot of the comments we've seen written in places and made by people through the Louis Vuitton semi-finals and finals was how dominant the right-hand side of the courses in Valencia. And today we've seen the left win, which is, you know, we've heard people talking about, oh, you know, the guy, why did Torben Grail go left when it's always right? It's, you know, it's stupid to even think about going left. Well, it's not